Yesterday, we looked at writing linear equations from a graph. Okay, today we're going to be graphing equations just a little bit differently. We're going to graph them by their intercepts. Okay, so far we've dealt with y-intercepts. We're going to start talking about just a little bit today the x-intercepts as well. It's the same thing as the y, except it's just where it crosses the x-intercept. Okay. So, like I said, today we will graph using the x and the y-intercept. Okay? All right, so how is this done? The first thing, one of the most important things, is it must be in standard form. Okay? So, if you're going to graph by intercepts, it must be in standard form. Okay? Now, so step number 2, we're going to cover up the y term and solve for x. Okay? So when we solve for x, that's going to be like solving for our x-intercept. Okay? We're removing the y, not solving for y or the y-intercept. So when we do that, it will look like ax equals c. When we do that, that will be our x-intercept. Okay? All right, step number 3, we're going to cover up the x term and solve for y. Okay? So then again, essentially, the x term is removed. We're going to solve for just y, and that will be our y-intercept. After we do that, you'll plot both intercepts and then connect them. So we should end up having 2 points on our graph. Okay? All right. So first thing, looking at number 1, guys, is the equation in standard form? Yes. Okay? So the second thing that we're going to look at, it says cover up the y. So really, essentially, guys, we're just removing the y from the equation, and it's going to end up being 3x equals -6. Okay, so now all we're doing is just solving for x. So do this just like we would be solving equations. Okay, do the inverse of what's given. So we'll divide by 3, divide by 3. Okay, so then x's, or the 3 over 3, leaves me with just the x. And then you have -6 divided by 3, leaves us with negative what? 2. Okay, so now that is my x-intercepts. That's where it crosses the x-axis. Okay, all right. Now, go to step number 3. We're removing the x term from the equation, and we're only solving for y. So we have -2y equals -6. Okay, solve these just like you would solving an equation. Do the inverse. So divide by -2. And divide by -2. Okay, now the 2's cancel, which will leave me with just y equals, and then -6 divided by -2, that will leave me with a +3. So we have my x-intercept, that is my y-intercept. Okay, now we're simply just going to graph them on the coordinate plane. Okay, I'm going to change my thickness so it shows up nice. X-intercepts equals -2, start at the origin, go over to -2, plot my coordinate on the x-axis. Okay? The next one is my y-intercept, which is 3, so we'll start at the origin, place it at 3, +3 on the y-axis. Okay? Then use our line tool, connect them, and we graphed by using intercepts. Okay? All right, questions? Y'all good? All right, let's look at number 2 real quick. Same concept. Okay? So we have x plus 2y equals 4. All right, so first thing we're going to cover up the y, remove the y from the equation. So then we're left with just x equals 4. Now, do we have anything to solve for here? There's nothing to solve for. It already tells us what x is. So my x-intercept is 4. Okay? All right, now we're going to remove the x value or the x variable from the equation, and we're left with just 2y equals 4. Right? Now, solve the equation just like we would normally. So we'll divide by 2. Do the inverse, divide by 2. And now we're left with y equals 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay? Now, go to plot these. X-intercept is 4. Start at the origin, go over to positive 4. Plot it. I'm going to increase my thickness. Good. 4. Okay? Y-intercept, positive 2. So 1, 2. Plot. Connect with my line tool. And we are good. So we graphed this standard form equation just by using the intercepts. Okay? Now, questions? Y'all good? All right, what y'all are going to do, y'all are going to complete the rest of them. There should not be any that are any difficult. Remember, remove the y, solve for x. Remove the x, solve for y. Plot both points, and then connect them. Y'all good? All right.